the juxtaposing forces of a father who had less than he wanted and a mother who wanted more for her son spurred me, eventually, to imagine a different future for myself, to see my world not as it was, but as it could be. This became a lifetime habit. And in some ways, that's a story I've tried to tell in this book, how we all can reimagine a better future by learning from the past with as much clarity and wisdom as we can muster, and by summoning the will and doing the work to bring the future into being. This has been my life's journey. The stairwell was the first place where my imagination took flight, but not the last. When I began my own business in the mid-1980s, I was inspired by old, even ancient influences, coffee, which has been consumed for centuries, as well as the human need for connection and community, which is embedded in our DNA. I envisioned a different way to bring those things together: Starbucks stores. When I opened my first espresso bars, I wanted to create places where people could escape the chaos of the day and feel a sense of belonging. More than 40 years later, going to Starbucks has become routine and respite for millions of people across more than 77 countries. Not home, not work, Starbucks stores have become known as a third place. For me, the idea of a third place is not just something that exists between four walls. It is a mindset, a way to exist in the world. That's why I set out to build a profitable business that also expressed a core ethos, that people of all kinds can come together and uplift one another. In that respect, aspects of the Starbucks journey reflect aspects of the American journey. Not because the country is a business, but because the business of the country has always been a constant struggle to balance the seemingly competing priorities of humanity and prosperity. I fiercely believe that Starbucks attempts to be a different kind of company, one that my own father, a working-class laborer, never had a chance to work for, are worth sharing at this fragile yet auspicious moment in our country's history, when truth and dignity need to make a thunderous comeback. In a sense, these pages are less about Starbucks in my childhood than about the place in which we were both born, the United States of America. The intertwined narratives of my youth and my final years at Starbucks tell a bigger story. It's a story about reinvention and renewal, about possibilities, about the power of people to change the lives of others as well as their own. It's a story about what we can do for ourselves and for each other, as well as the responsibility we all have to reimagine our shared future. And reimagine we must. Ideals that our nation was founded on, including equality and liberty for all, have yet to be fully realized. In some corners, their very existence is being threatened. The continuation of American democracy also is not a foregone conclusion. In fact, the American dream that I have lived and still believe in, the notion that everyone should have an equal opportunity to rise from the ground up, is at a crossroads. More people need to have a fair chance at their dreams, however humble or ambitious those dreams may be. And now is the time to talk about what those chances might look like for everyone. Together, we have the potential to reimagine and deliver on the promise of our country, as I hope this book reveals. Ultimately, I wrote from the ground up because I am optimistic about the future, and I wanted to share what I've learned from the past. While not a memoir, it is an honest reflection about how my earliest experiences, some of which I've never made public until now, pervaded and informed the life I led once I got out of the stairwell and headed west, beyond everything I knew, in search of what I imagined was possible. And while this is also not a business book, it is a behind-the-scenes exploration of one business's journey to try and answer a vital question of our time. What can we do to effect meaningful change and create the just, fair, and secure future we all desire? I hope From the Ground Up will spark something in you, perhaps even inspire a movement, to embrace all that is right with our country, face what needs to be fixed, and discover how we might use our vast resources and individual assets in new ways to lift ourselves and one another to greater heights.